We've got new fragrances, new to you fragrances, new to me fragrances, and some old favorites. We're starting off with Tom Ford's Cafe Rose. Now, maybe you've heard of this fragrance. It's been around since 2012. This is the newly reformulated one from 2023, and it's got some slight differences from its original scent. This one is more rose heavy, and the coffee notes take a little bit of a back seat. Now, this version also doesn't have the rectangular, angular packaging that we've seen a lot of Tom Ford fragrances have. The first thing that's going to hit your nose when you smell this is rose. It's going to be a little bit powdery, but it's also going to be warm, spicy, and woody. Cafe Rose is described as being roses in a coffee shop, roses with dark coffee. But I'm going to be real with you, it's mainly roses. If you've read any review that said this is just roses, listen to those and believe those. Smell a little bit of patchouli, a little bit of earthiness, and after it sits on the skin for about 20-30 minutes, an hour, then you'll start to pick up on some notes of dark coffee. But this is definitely a rose fragrance, and honestly, I like the idea and the concept of a rose fragrance. You are a floral person, you like a floral fragrance, this is the perfect rose scent of the season. It allows you to still be floral, but the rose is just deeper, it's a little bit more mysterious, and it's just going to transition well if you're normally wearing your florals. Now, the top notes of this are Turkish rose and coffee. And even though it's a top note, you're still not getting a lot of that coffee when you smell this. The middle notes are Bulgarian rose, patchouli, cardamom, coriander, ylang-ylang, with base notes of frankincense and sandalwood. You do get a lot of that woodiness. The longer you wear this, the more that spiciness comes out. This does last about 5 hours, 5-ish hours on the skin. Now, for $160 and the fact that it is a Tom Ford fragrance, I did want it to last a bit longer on me. I did find some of their other fragrances to have a stronger staying power. I feel like you're going to get a good portion of your day wearing this. You may choose to re-spritz this on for night. If you're wondering how does Tom Ford's Cafe Rose compare to Sniff's Rose era, I'm gonna have to tell you this one is the better choice. This rose is too strong. This one is too powdery. This is like grandma's bathroom. Now with Sniff, I always feel like with their fragrances, that first burst of scent you get is not always the most flattering. You have to let them sit for a longer time period. It becomes a little bit too aquatic, a little bit too light, too powdery, too soft, whereas Cafe Rose continues to have its edge. So if you were looking for an edgy fragrance, maybe you like Sniff's Rose era, or edgy, go for Cafe Rose. Now, speaking of Sniff, I have the Honey Sweet. This is one of their newest launches, and it is a honey forward fragrance. This is another Sniff scent where I have to say that that first spritz doesn't win me over. It does take a little bit of time before I like it. While its main fragrance is honey, and you do smell that once you let it sit on the skin for a little bit, it is honey, lavender, vanilla, saffron, broom cedar, frankincense, and divana. One thing I will say about this one is even though honey is the main character, the floral takes over too much when you first spritz this. So when you first spritz it, you're gonna get like a woof of floral before it dries down to those beautiful honey sweet notes. I wouldn't exactly call this a gourmand fragrance, so if you were afraid this one was too gourmand, it's not. For me, it ends up being just a little bit too floral to lean that way. The staying power of this fragrance is about 4 hours. It's not as long as I would have liked it to be. I do find that the Sniff fragrances in general don't last too long on the skin, and I do find myself reapplying sometimes 2 or 3 times within the day. But this fragrance is great if you don't have anything else in your collection that is honey scented. And if you really want to elevate this scent in particular, pair it with Crumb Couture, because Crumb Couture is giving you that buttery, jammy croissant, and honey just adds something so delicious and so sweet to Crumb Couture. So if you do like a gourmand fragrance, take Crumb Couture and then put honey on. But if you want something a little bit more floral, honey is going to give you that sweetness while still being a more floral fragrance. Now this next one, I don't have my bottle in yet. I did just repurchase it again, and it's Milk Commodity Bold. This one is like roasted, toasted marshmallows. It's a gourmand, but it's also woody. It's warm. It's like sitting by the fireplace in the holiday season. And some people have compared this one to By the Fireplace by Replica, except for this one has a much sweeter, more marshmallowy kind of note, lactic notes to it that makes it a little bit nicer. Personally, I have never really worn Replicas by the Fire, but I do like Commodity Bold, Milk Bold. better than that one. Woody, powdery, sweet. It's lactonic milk. Remember milk lactonic? It has that like almost acidic milk smell, but in a good way. Its top notes are milk and marshmallow, with its middle notes being white cedar extract and musk. Base notes being woody notes and amber. So this is warm. This is milky. This is marshmallowy. This is a toasted marshmallow at the fireplace during the holiday season. And this one is a pretty long lasting fragrance. In fact, I sprayed it. I had a small amount left yesterday and I sprayed it on my sweater, and my sweater still smells like it a whole 24 hours later. Do with that information what you will, but a little bit goes a long way and it lasts. Dare I say it, this next one is a sexy holiday fragrance. This is for the singles, this is for the new couples, this is for those of you, you know, they're just like the holiday season, you know, getting freaky on holiday season. And it's called 12, I think it's 12 p.m., 12 a.m. by Noyz. You could see by the little legs in the air what it's all about. So this is their newest fragrance. This is Noyz's newest fragrance. It's got top notes of Australian pink pepper and jasmine petals, middle notes of raspberry with a creamy blonde woods, and base notes of ambroxan and spun sugar. This is a sweet scent, but it's so sexy and sensual. And like I said, the bottle has like the little legs in the air, which, you know, it gives you an idea. Now, what I get when I immediately smell this is I smell a bit of pine. Like I smell a pineness to this, like a kind of like ozoniness. I don't know. You know what it reminds me of? It's not exactly pine. It's not exactly ozone. It's like, you know, when you go outside in the winter after it's just snowed and there's and especially if you're like you're in a woodedy area or a tree area where there is pine trees, and there's that certain smell in the air that you come inside and you could smell the air when you come inside. There's a note of that in this. And it's like when you smell the spun sugar and you smell the raspberry, it's like when you're cooking pies for Christmas, but you don't smell the vanilla, you smell the fruit. Or like when you think of like cranberry sauce, like that's what this smells like. It's sweet, it's sugary, but it also has that essence of like cold winter air. So I would even say like this is a fall and winter fragrance, and it's just so sweet and yummy. And it's like if you're in a cabin for the winter, you know, you're in a cabin for the weekend in the winter, this is the sexy scent you're gonna wear because you're gonna have your legs up in the air like that, guaranteed. This one I get about 5 to 6 hours of wear time, which because I feel like it's a more nighttime fragrance, is plenty of time. I do feel like it lingers nicely on the skin when it dries down. It starts off with that pink pepper, and you know, it starts off when you spritz it with that pink pepper and that jasmine, but as you wear it, it gets sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, which, I mean, it should be, if you get my drift. But yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect for what it is for, and I feel like if you're looking for a sexy, flirty fragrance, this one is it. I always start craving apple fragrances. I love going apple picking. I love apple cider donuts. There's just something about apple season that gets me. It's a fragrance that is new to me, and it's the Ellis Brooklyn Apple Love. The website said it was for like the love of New York City, but you know, New York is known for its apples. Top notes of red apple, mandarin, and peach skin, which makes it very, very fruity when you first spritz it. And then the mid notes, we've got plum blossom and sugar cane, so it sweetens as you wear it. And the dry down is sandalwood, vanilla Madagascar, praline, ambrox, and musk. Starts out very apple, and then it sweetens down to like apple pie. It winds up being the most warm, almost woody apple skin scent that you could wear this season. And if you were wondering, how does this compare to Eden by Kayali? This is a fragrance I also love, the juicy apple fragrance. I do love wearing this during the holiday and the fall season as well. Eden is also a fruity, floral, vanilla-y, woody fragrance, very similar to Ellis Brooklyn, but they have a lot of differences. So what makes Eden by Kayali just a little bit different is it starts off with red apple, and you have the lychee, and you have the grapefruit, and you have the currant, the black currant. And then the middle notes are wild berries, raspberry blossom, jasmine, and rose. And this one settles down to the same thing: sugar, vanilla, musk, and a little bit of moss. So this one is very, very fruity, more like a fruit cocktail. I would say that this is your summer apple fragrance. This is like your fruit cocktail, fruit juice, 4th of July barbecue fragrance. The longevity of this is about 7 to 9 hours. I got a very good wear time from this one. Honestly, I feel like that's very impressive for an apple or fruity fragrance. These don't typically, I feel like they don't last as long, but this one did. So if you're looking for long lasting, apple, this is this is the one you should be checking out. I just want to add in too that if you're like a body spray person like I am, I wanted to give you like an affordable option as well. This was the Candy Apple Cauldron from Bath and Body Works. You may still be able to get this one. I got it like a week ago, so they still had some of the Halloween stuff out, and this one has green apple, sugar, and bergamot. This one reminds me a lot of Eden, so it is a little bit more fruit cocktail, but because it's a body mist, it's going to sit lighter on the skin. And I feel like if you're looking for a light mist of like, oh, you kind of smell like apples, this one from Bath and Body Works would be a good choice. Or if you happen to be in Target, the apple cinnamon bark from Beloved. The apple notes in this are so light. It's like the scent of cutting open a fresh apple with a little bit of cinnamon. Like as you're sprinkling the cinnamon on those fresh apple slices, that's what this smells like. It's very, very light. It's almost kind of potpourri, but not in a bad way. But if you were looking for a vegan body mist with essential oils in it, that's still apple fragranced, this one would be a good choice too. Next, I've got 2 body mists from Lush, which includes Sticky Dates and Lord of Misrule. Sticky Dates is a caramel, amber, sweet, warm, spicy fragrance that I thought to myself, there's no way that this is going to smell good on the skin. Lush packaging of their fragrances always kind of makes me giggle because they look like cleaning supplies. This one, there's no top, middle, or base notes. It's just caramel, benzoin, and sandalwood. So it's literally sweet. Literally the scent of caramel. It is opening a jar of caramel. It's caramel. That's it. So if you want to smell like caramel, this is a great choice. Now, why did I follow up apple with a caramel scent? I don't know. You do the math. Caramel fragrance with any one of the apple scents that I just showed you is going to give you the ultimate caramel apple fragrance for this season. Now, Lord of Misrule, this is a fragrance that Lush has like all year round in their perfume form, but during the Halloweeny season, they come out with their body mist. It has a spicy black pepper scent, patchouli, and a little vanilla. I'll say this, if you don't like the smell of pepper, you're not going to like this one. This is the smell of like freshly cracked pepper. This is spicy. It's a little masculine. I like a masculine scent on myself during the cooler months. There's just something about like a spicy fragrance, a pepper fragrance, that just does it for me. If you've been a fan of Shalimar by Grouillon, I always say that wrong, excuse my butchering of it. If you're a fan of that, the peppery fragrance in that, and you wanted that a little bit lighter and in a body mist, this is a good option. Sticky Dates and Lord of Misrule are going to last about 3 to 5 hours on the skin, depending, because they are body mists and not actual perfumes. I mean, they have perfume in them, but they're body mists, so they are going to be a lighter fragrance amount, a lighter amount of fragrance oil in them. If you do like this fragrance, like I said, they do have it available as a full perfume. I didn't see Sticky Dates available in a larger size, but whether you're going sweet or spicy, I feel like Lush has a fragrance for you during this time of the year. This fragrance is one of my favorites all year round, but it is so good for season because this opens up with leather, the scent of leather, which I feel like we wear more of when it starts to get cooler. It also has cherry because this one is Room 1015 Cherry Punk. This is the extra de parfum, meaning it is the strongest, most intense version of this scent. So it is leather, cherry, sweet, animalic. There's a little bit of an allemanic. You know what I'm trying to say. Scent to its warm, spicy, smoky, and a little bit nutty, and a tiny hint of vanilla, but this is not a vanilla fragrance. I will say that. So this is formulated for both men and women. It is a genderless fragrance. And honestly, I feel like it smells good on everybody. When you immediately smell this fragrance, whether you're smelling it in the bottle or you're spritzing them in the skin, immediately the first scent you're going to smell is leather. So if you don't like the smell of a leather chair, you're not going to like this one. But the cherry rounds out that leather so perfectly. According to them, the top notes that you smell when you first spray it on is cherry, saffron, and Swan pepper. I smell the leather right off the bat, okay? It's very, very leather, and then it's also cherry and floral and peppery. Your middle notes are very floral. So as soon as that wears off, what you're going to smell on yourself for most of the day is violet, mimosa, and jasmine. But I also continue to smell the cherry and the leather. I feel like they never leave. Base notes are leather, tonka bean, and patchouli. So you can see that this is not a fragrance that's going to lean vanilla. If you were worried about this cherry, because a lot of cherry scents do lean cherry vanilla. This is not it. This is a masculine cherry scent. This is the fragrance that I get the single most amount of compliments. Everybody compliments me when I wear this one. They're like, what are you wearing? That is an amazing fragrance. I need that. This is going to get you compliments. Now, if you're wondering, like, how does this compare to other cherry fragrances? For example, Lost Cherry by Tom Ford, which is in a similar price range. Interesting enough, Tom Ford's top notes are cherry and saffron. It's the same top notes as cherry punk. The middle notes in this are leather, Chinese osmanthus, and apricot, and it rounds down to smoky and woody notes. In my opinion, both of these are fantastic, but the leather, the strength of the leather on this cherry punk fragrance makes me lean to it and gravitate towards it all the time, every time, over Lost Cherry. Lost Cherry has that smokiness to it. You could smell the leather in this one, but it's so much taking a back seat, whereas this one, it's so forward. And it's so different than anything else I own that I will always reach for this one over the Tom Ford. And I used to love this Tom. I still love it, but I will always reach for this one over this one. In terms of longevity, this is going to last literally forever on your skin. I could spray this on a piece of clothing and like a jacket, a coat, and put it on in my cupboard, my closet. Not my cupboard, I don't put coats in my cupboard. Put this in my closet and I could pull it out weeks later and it will still smell like this fragrance. So this is a very, very strong fragrance. This is a very, very long lasting fragrance. It is a stronger fragrance. You need very little spritzes of this to get full maximum effect and longevity. Now I wanted to continue on the path of unisex fragrances. So this is Chris Collins' Sweet Taboo. This is another fragrance that I get tons of compliments on, and it is a unisex fragrance, meaning anybody can wear it. It's got top notes of clary sage, cardamom, and cinnamon. It's got all the spiciness of the holiday season. You're going to be reminded of like pumpkin pie spice, eggnog. You're going to be reminded of all of those like spicy, delicious treats that we eat during the holiday season. It's got heart notes of geranium, cacao, and coffee. So it's got a little bit of floral in there, but you're gonna smell that dark coffee. You're gonna smell that dark coffee, that dark cocoa. It's very well bodied. It's very well bodied. And you have your base notes of benzoin, tonka bean, vanilla, and musk. Not another fragrance where vanilla is taking center stage. No, what you're going to be smelling throughout the wear time is the spice, the chocolate, and the coffee. It's decadent. It's delicious, but it's not terribly sweet. I honestly feel like if I smelled this on a man, it'd be game over. But also when I smell this on myself, I feel delicious and powerful. So if you're looking to stay within the unisex realm, this is another great choice that is going to be something unique that not everybody's going to be wearing during the holiday season. And I also feel like this is something you're going to get a lot of compliments on. Just like Cherry Punk, this one you spray it on and it's going to be on whatever you spray it on until you wash it, even your skin. It is a very long lasting fragrance. I would say eternal, 24 hours plus. 2 fragrances from Life of the Party. I love this brand of scents because they're BIPOC owned, they're clean, both men and women can wear them, they're unisex. Again, we're keeping that unisex trail, the unisex train going. So Life of the Party, whatever holiday party you're going to go to, this scent is perfect for it. So it's fruity, it's floral, it's got amber, it's got musk, and it's softly spicy. It's black currant and midnight jasmine. So it's very fruity, very floral, but the spiciness to it, that doesn't make it just your run-of-the-mill, your average floral fruity fragrance. There's just something very deep to this one. It's something that you put it on and people will say, oh, that's a different type of fruit fragrance. That's a different type of floral fragrance. You don't smell like everybody else in the room when you wear this one. So catch feelings. This one is rose, citrus, leather. Leather always gets me. Rose and leather just get me for the holiday autumn season. Aromatic, fruity, tropical, musky. Official notes of this are rose, grapefruit, suede, lychee, and vetiver. So what you're going to notice is that when you smell this and you wear it, you're going to smell that suede. So suede is a type of like leather. It's in the same family. So you're going to get that like skin animal kind of fragrance in this scent, but it's a lot softer because suede is a little bit softer of a scent. If you've ever smelled suede versus a new leather jacket, there's quite a different fragrance there, but they are very similar. So I feel like if you wanted that like leather accord and you still wanted it to be rose, this is the perfect balance, and the citrus in this, the grapefruit, actually helps balance everything out. So if you were looking for something transitional from the summer, this is a good scent because it's still warm, it's still full-bodied, it's still musky enough to carry that cooler cooler weather with you. These are gonna last about 5 to 6 hours on the skin, which I feel is pretty decent for the price point. And if you're indecisive about a scent, I have a set for you from Boy Smells. This has 4 holiday fragrances that I also feel is appropriate for right now, also genderless and unisex. Now, each one of these is metallic and reflective, so they do get fingerprints easily. I'm not going to pop them out. They are travel sizes. They do not have the full sizes of these scents available, but we have 4 of them. We have Holiday Smells, which is a mix of cardamom, jasmine petals, and vanilla. I feel like it's very heavy on that cardamom. It's beautifully spicy. That's going to have you thinking of eggnog or even mulled wine. Then we have Broken Rosary, which is honestly my favorite of this entire set. It's got notes of woodiness, cinnamon leaf, and rosewater, but I'll be honest, I smell rosemary in it, and I don't know if it's because my brain is associating rosary with rosemary. Something just a little bit like aquatic, earthy. It has a notes of sacred woods, and I'm thinking for me that's translating to rosemary, but it's just one of the most beautiful fragrances I've ever smelled. Just for that alone, I feel like this set is worth getting. The next one is Insensorial. This one is citrus, cardamom, and incense. This one for me leans a little bit more masculine. I personally did not like the way this one smelled on my skin. I wouldn't mind smelling it on someone who is more masculine. To men, I'm a cis female, so I'm attracted to men. And I feel like on a man, I would find this very attractive. On myself, not so much. And then the last one is Vanilla Error. This one is like the most play it safe scent of the set. It says it's an opulent allure vanilla refined with elusive, ISO, super, and white tulip. For me, it's a vanilla fragrance. This is just vanilla, but it's perfect for layering with the other fragrances because you can always pair vanilla with anything. This is something you'll hear me say at the end of the video because I have something coming for you regarding layering. So I feel like you can layer this with any one of them to make your own personal fragrance, but for me, the rosary one and the holiday smells makes this set worth getting, especially if you want to smell like the holiday season. Looking back, whenever I smell these, I'll be reminded of this time period because scent is our strongest tie to memory. So if you're looking for a good set, this set comes in at about $100, and the longevity of these is about, depending on the fragrance, I feel like the shortest one was on the skin was Broken Rosary, even though that was my favorite. I got about 4 to 5 hours of wear of that, whereas the other ones I got about 7. So the longevity is pretty decent, but you can't get any more literal for the holiday or fall season than this set. Now these next 2 fragrances I'm going to show you, both in a body mist and a perfume, are layering fragrances, meaning that you can add them to any of the fragrances I showed you here today, or any one that you may have at home to make it more delicious. Now this is Pure Vanilla from La Vanilla. As you can see, I use mine quite heavily. Now this fragrance is literally a pure vanilla fragrance. This is vanilla, which gives it a nice clean base to pair with whatever you want on top of it. So whether you're pairing your vanilla with sticky dates, making it vanilla caramel, or you're pairing this with any of the apple fragrances and you're making it like apple pie with ice cream, you're pairing this with the Cris Collins to make like a coffee spicy vanilla eggnog scent. You can do so much with this one fragrance, and you can also wear it alone and you're just going to smell so delicious. This one has a great longevity as well. You're going to get like 6 to 7 hours, so I feel like it would enhance and extend any other fragrance you put with it, but by itself it is gorgeous. It's simple and it's just delicious. Now if you were looking for something in a body mist form, Heavy Cream by Fleur. All right, this is sweet, this is vanilla, this is powdery, and it's lactonic. So this one you can also pair with a lot of the scents that I showed you, including Milk's Bold, including Commodity Milk Bold, which is also like lactonic. This one will really help to enhance those lactonic sweet marshmallow scent to it. Pair this one with the Noyz 12 o'clock if you want to make it even more gourmand, more sweet, more delicious. On its own, it kind of smells like whipped cream on the body, if you know what I mean. The official notes of this one are marshmallow, sugar, orange, and lemon, with middle notes of coconut, ambrette, jasmine, and base notes of whipped cream, vanilla, and caramel. So it's going to pair really well with any of the fragrances I showed you here, from apple to coffee to cherry. It's going to complement every single one of them. So if you want to enhance them or even just make them a little bit different, these allow you to easily switch it up if you want to. That finishes up my roundup. Many of these fragrances I have been wearing for quite some time. There are some new ones that I just tried. Whether you love gourmand, fruity, floral, or even something unisex, I hope I've covered all of your bases. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, leave some comments. Let's have a perfume fragrance conversation. If you're on Instagram and you'd like to follow along with New York City lifestyle, beauty, fashion, and everything in between, follow me at Recycled Stardust. And if you're on TikTok and you want to learn more about Native American history, heritage, and culture, you can find me at Recycled Stardust. No E before the D because my name was already taken. And as always, I appreciate you watching.